Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Salmons, and in each episode we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by John Nemo, founder of Nemo Media Group. John works with coaches and consultants to help them generate clients organically on LinkedIn without relying on ads, cold calling, or sappy outreach. His approach focuses on building trust, creating content, and turning conversations into real business opportunities. John, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
I'm so excited to be here. I wish I had a cool British accent, but I'm just an American. I got nothing. Olivia, you could read the phone book. It just sounds so cool. I love it.
I love it. You've got the coolest surname I've ever heard in my life, so you're
It's
winning on
very
that front.
it's very memorable. Finding Nemo, the fish jokes. I get them all, but at least people, in marketing, as we all
Yeah.
know, you want to be memorable. So I got that going
Exactly
for
that.
me.
Exactly
Yeah.
that. You've got that kind of staring in their face, which is so cool. I suppose it must have ruined your life though when that film did come out from
It did. The
Yeah.
only good news is now people know how to spell it. They would always spell it like Memo or Memo, or now they know how to spell. So
Now
there
they
you
know how
go.
to spell it and they know how to say it as well. So you get the double-edged sword of that one, but really cool. Anyway, John, it's such a pleasure to have you here, and I'm very much excited to dive in and learn a little bit more about your journey. So, with all of my guests, I do actually like to start at the beginning. So, if you don't mind briefly taking me back to what it was you was doing before you started up Nemo Media Group, and then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
Yeah, great questions. Back in 2012, like a lot of people, I was working a day job and I had a very kind of safe, secure setup. I was making six figures. I wasn't going to get fired. I could have just coasted with that job, but a couple of things were going on in my life. One was our three boys were all home under the age of 10, and I felt like I was missing out on everything. And I really wanted to I had never done this before, but I wanted to scratch an entrepreneurial itch. I wanted to see if I could really build work around my family instead of family around work. And so I talked to some friends that had owned businesses, had done their own thing, and I basically was told like it's never going to be the perfect timing. You just got to try. And at that point, I was confident enough that I could get other day jobs if I flopped on my face. And I'm not a good planner, so I wouldn't recommend this strategy, Olivia, but I had one client. I had enough money for 30 days. I had about $30,000 in credit card debt, our three boys and my wife at home to support. And I quit my job. Great plan. Great plan. But I also saw an opportunity back in 2012, which was I saw an opportunity with LinkedIn specifically at that time to
Yeah.
really use it as a lead generation tool. And so when I quit that job and had all that extra time, I was able within my first 90 days at home on my own, up in a corner of our bedroom, wobbly folding card table, the whole thing, like starter founder thing. I was able to do 135,000 US in revenue in 90 days just from complete random people I found on LinkedIn. And that just validated for me that, okay, I don't have to go back and get another day job. And that really then grew into the book I'm best known for, LinkedIn Riches, and then eventually a Done For You agency. So it was quite a wild journey, but that's the beginnings of it.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, so as you say, it's not the roadmap that everybody should aspire to, but I do think sometimes like when you have that itch, you need to scratch it, but also when you see like a hole like you did, especially in those infancy days of LinkedIn, you do have to just jump in feet first. And as long as you have that safety blanket, as you said, I can always just go and get another job. Like that salary can be replaced. So it's about like stretching your wings and really finding something that you love about it. And with that itch, did you always want to be an entrepreneur, or was that just something that naturally developed, obviously, as you maybe moving through what might have been like a bit of a stagnant corporate role as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I didn't consciously grow up with that example. So both my parents were teachers and my dad, they both taught at university level here in the United States. And my dad always had this entrepreneurial ideas. Now I grew up in the 1980s. I'm old as hell, right? So like I was born in 1975. I was a child of the 80s. And the technology then, it wasn't what it is today. And so I think my parents looked at, they had three kids. I would always see him in his office scheming and plotting and talking about business ideas, but he never did quit his job or take that leap because he had to support the family and be safe. And I think to start a business in the 80s was totally different than what it is today. Think about the ability we have with the internet and social media to instantly have the communication tools, the tech, all that. And so What really, a couple things happened, I think, that shaped me into being an entrepreneur. One was my dad got sick and died. So he had cancer from the time I was 7 until I was 17. And when he died, I was just like, man, life is really short. And that flipped something in me that said, why am I playing it safe? So later on in my life, it was like, what's the worst that can happen? I've lived through that with a loved one. And I think the other thing was I was getting fired from my day jobs because I was being too entrepreneurial. So
Yeah.
one example I use in 2008, at the height of the global recession in the US and worldwide, it was after the Lehman Brothers and all the collapse of the banks. I was working for a trade association and I was really pushing hard. I was the communications and PR guy. I had grown up and gotten my degree in journalism. So I was in print journalism, newspaper, storytelling. And I was pushing this trade association I work for. We got to get on this new trend, social media, Facebook, Twitter. And the old guard was pushing back, saying, no, we need to have a lawyer review every tweet. And we slow your roll. And I was always very entrepreneurial and I want to go 100 miles an hour. And I ended up getting into an email match back and forth with the old guard. And I wrote an angry email that was like, come on, you're too scared or whatever. And I wrote that on a Friday. I got fired on a Monday at the height of the recession with no plan and no savings. I remember I came home, I sat on the kitchen floor and cried, and I had our three little boys. They were like 5, 3, and 1 at the time. Within a week, I was able to get a new job that actually paid me $25,000 more using LinkedIn and social media. So, in my own mind, that was another entrepreneurial moment of, wow, I can use social media to make money. And it's a crazy story, right? 'Cause that's the height of the recession. How, if you get fired, you should be cooked. But anyway, got that new job. I had that job till 2012. And that's really when I made that leap. And I was like, I think I stayed on my last day job as long as I did because I had a boss that would let me be entrepreneurial. But even then, I got to a plateau where it was like, I can only do so many things within the boundaries of this company.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're on your own as an entrepreneur, there is no bad idea. There is no one saying you can't do it. And I think that's what I love the most is because I love being creative. I love telling stories. I love trying new things. I love learning as the son of two English teachers. I love reading books. I love stories. And I think that's really, yeah, I definitely didn't grow up as like the kid with the lemonade stand. I grew up
Yeah.
thinking the worldview was you get a career, you play it safe. And I think between seeing what my dad went through and then getting fired for being too entrepreneurial, it was worth taking that shot. And it worked out.
Yeah, and it 100% didn't actually say for me, it feel like the natural path for you as well. Because when you are that entrepreneurial person inside any business, not only do you outwork everybody else, so your creativity is on another level and you spot things way quicker sometimes than the actual owner of the company. So it does cause a lot of friction when you're telling them how they should do their job better than what they're actually doing it. So yeah, I completely get that. So let's dive into Nemo Media a little bit more then, just so that listeners can have some context moving forward. So John, at this point in, who would you say is your ideal client? Who is it that you very much love to work with the most? And then from there, how would you help them? And how would you
Yeah.
support
Oh, yeah. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah. But
them?
basically, we work with 6 and 7 figure coaches and consultants and business owners. And so we're looking for clients that have higher ticket service offerings, right? They're not just starting out. You're a successful business coach, a successful consultant, a successful business owner, but not too
Yeah.
big. And what we do is we basically help you get leads from LinkedIn. So it's a very simple explanation is we're a done for you LinkedIn lead generation agency. And obviously I can go into all the how that works and what works best and share all my best tips because I know people want to know about that. But in essence, that's what we do.
Beautiful stuff. And there's so many nuances when you come into LinkedIn. And as you said, when you started, what did you say, 2012? Like, it
Yeah.
was a completely different platform back then to what it is now. Like, it was very much seen as like a job sharing site or a connection site. No one was using it for lead gen. So, what kind of made you see that opportunity with it? What was it that kind of caught your attention?
I just realized early on, because like everyone else, I probably got on LinkedIn first in 2007, 2008. I used it like everyone else did as a resume, upload a
Yeah.
profile. It's just for getting hired and job seekers. And by 2012, I saw when I started playing out with LinkedIn search, I was like, whoa, they went big brother on this. Like they have all the data on every single member and you can reverse engineer it as a list. I
Yeah.
was like, this is like Google for B2B leads. So I quickly realized I could type in something simple, hospital CFO, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and immediately get a list of those exact people. And then I was like, oh, okay, the riches are in the niches with marketing. I could immediately reach out to every single one of those hospital CFOs with a targeted message about their issue, their pain point, whatever. So in my case, It was debt collectors because I had worked for a trade association with debt collectors. And basically, the only client I had when I quit my job was a debt collector. So he was like, do marketing for me, web services, whatever. And so I just went on LinkedIn and I typed in debt collection agency owner, immediately built a list of them and started marketing to them. And then we can talk more about the strategies behind it. But the biggest thing I learned with LinkedIn and the platform changes was all the money was in the mailbox. It was all in one-on-one DMs. That was true in 2012 and it's true today. That has literally not changed in over a decade. And where I see the most frustration from consultants, coaches, founders, business owners is I'm on LinkedIn. There's just all this noise. There's all this content. Everyone tells me I have to publish all this stuff and comment on everyone's posts. And I always tell them, like, no, you don't have to do any of that. Like, none of that moves the needle. I call it vanity metrics. Like, you can't deposit likes and shares in your bank account anyway. Like, even if you go viral, you still have to look through everyone that commented and see, are they even a viable lead for me? Whereas if you just use LinkedIn the way that I can explain, you save so much time. You can go direct to the decision makers. And that's why it works so good as a lead gen tool, because if you're in B2B, everyone's on there and everyone's reachable one to one. And that's where the magic is in terms of the opportunity with LinkedIn. The real secret now is, how do you get them engaged? How do you get them to respond? How do you actually sell? And we can talk more about that too.
Yeah, so as you say, the nuances have changed throughout the platform, but exactly obviously the way that you described it there is how I've used it myself, like now within the past couple of years. So it is just a really great way to directly message that key decision maker and really get in their pocket, almost like a text message, which is really cool. And yeah, a lot of people do think I have to put all that effort in. It's a lot of content creating, but I don't think many people do that on LinkedIn anyway. You'll know better than me, but I think it's if you post consistently every day for a month, you're in like the one top percent of content creating on LinkedIn. But people often get confused, very much similar with Instagram. They think that followers will equal revenue. It's just not the case. You actually need to go out there and inbox people, connect with people, find those right people, and then from there you can get some traction. It's not just about attracting attention. It's about actually putting some work in and diving that. Now, you did mention you have obviously the book and the Done For You service, but what offers do you provide, or how is it you work with your clients? What is it like to work with John Nemo?
It's the greatest experience on earth. Come on. What we basically do is we're a little bit different than a lot of LinkedIn lead gen agencies in that everything we do is super custom and it's written in your voice. For example, if you hire us, our whole team is US based. You get a dedicated copywriter, project manager, link marketing strategist, graphic designer. What we do, and this will walk through the framework of what works best on LinkedIn for anyone. So if you want to do it on your own, we basically do a deep dive on you. What's your story? What makes you unique, different, and better? Who's your target audience? What are you trying to sell? What's your offer? And then we reverse engineer all that into a couple key things. The first one is obviously your personal LinkedIn profile. So you want to use your personal LinkedIn profile to really do all your outreach and all your marketing. And obviously, as you already noted, Olivia, most people treat it like a job site and it's a resume and it's written in the third person. And here's the problem with that: no one cares. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about what you're all about. Like I literally built my whole business off one line from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, written by Dale Carnegie in 1936. And people have not changed, so the advice is more true now than ever, which is nobody cares about you, nobody cares about me. People care about themselves, morning, noon, and after supper. And so what I do for our clients is we rewrite your whole LinkedIn profile, instead of being a resume all about you and how great you are as a consultant or a founder, into all about your target audience and how you help them solve their problems. For example, at a practical granular level, your LinkedIn headline doesn't say CEO, name of company or whatever, founder, name of company. It says two things: service I provide for target audience. So for example, it might be you might be the founder of XYZ company, or XYZ, as you guys like to say, that does SEO services for dentists in the UK. So instead of writing CEO XYZ company, it would be SEO services for UK based dentists. That would be your LinkedIn profile headline: service I provide for target audience. So for me, it's done for you LinkedIn lead generation for founders and
Yeah.
6 to 7 figure consultants. Why does that matter? Because within 1 second, someone who sees an invite from me on LinkedIn or sees my photo right under it's that headline, they immediately know what's in it for them. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. This is the service he does, and it's for people just like me. Now they'll look lower in your profile. So the about section, I like to start with what I do. I help insert your target audience, solve or get 2 to 3 benefits they want by providing my service. So we use these kind of templates and strategies to make it what I call a client facing profile. So what I do, I help founders and high ticket consultants generate more leads on LinkedIn and stop relying on referrals by providing done for you LinkedIn services. Nowhere in there is I'm John Nemo, the founder of Nemo Media Group, and I'm so important and I want no one cares. What do you do? Can you solve problems for people like me? So that's how the profile works. And then the second piece that we do is we connect your personal profile to Sales Navigator, which is a paid version of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is pay to play. If you pay for the higher ticket thing, you get more data and you can build better lists. So then we use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to build a list of all your ideal prospects. I call it digital door knocking. So what we're going to do is build neighborhoods of all your ideal prospects. So if you say to me, put me in front of hospital CFOs in the United States, I sell this hospital software that they need. Put me in front of hospital CFOs in North America. The hospital has to be this big, have this many employees. I only want to work with CFOs that have been in their position for 10 plus years, blah, 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 blah. I can make a perfect list of all those exact CFOs. Now I
Hmm.
have a digital neighborhood, and I'm going to go to every door in that neighborhood of 200 CFOs in the United States that fit all those criteria. I'm going to knock on their door one on one, which is LinkedIn messaging or LinkedIn invites. Okay, well, what do you actually say to get them to engage? Because most people, this is where they fumble it. They try to marry the prospect on the first date. We provide this service. Let's find a time to talk. Does Tuesday at 3:30 work? Right? The pushy, aggressive, spammy, you call that, I think, sappy sales tactics. Instead, again, I go back to Dale Carnegie. We use a very permission-based, friendly approach. Literally one sentence. So if I'm reaching out to founders and consultants on LinkedIn about my service, I literally say, hey, Olivia, would you be interested in my best free tips on how founders can generate high quality leads on LinkedIn? That's it, one sentence. Or I might say, hey, Olivia, would you be interested in a free copy of my book, LinkedIn Lead Generation for Founders and Consultants? That's it.
Yeah.
One sentence, one question. What happens is two things. One is if you're targeting the right audience, founders and consultants, and your lead magnet, your ebook you're offering has their name in it, and it has the title of what the service is, LinkedIn Lead Gen for them, they're going to raise their hand and go, yeah, send me your free tips, or yeah, send me the free ebook. That indicates interest. They're interested in the topic. This is the other big mistake people make on LinkedIn is I'm gonna connect with everyone and become best friends and chat them up, and then I'll offer something. What if they're retired? What if they don't need your service? What if they already have it? So that one sentence message where it's permission based and you offer some free content, you don't include a link, you don't include a PDF, you don't assume they want it. If they raise their hand and say yes, now you go deeper. Not only do you deliver the free ebook, the free content, whatever it is, now you look at their LinkedIn profile and you can instantly personalize everything. Oh, I see you live in Manchester, United or City. Who's your team? If you're a Premier League soccer fan, I'm trying to personalize her for my audience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or I see you went to this university. Do you still keep up with the sports teams? Or in
Yeah.
America, I see you live in this city. How do you survive the winters? You can look and immediately, just like you would in real life. So the LinkedIn inbox, qualify, then personalize. If you know they're interested in the topic, give them the free content, which, by the way, should do the heavy lifting for you in terms of they get to know and trust you, they hear your backstory, they get some free tips and frameworks. And what I found, people always say, what's the best content to share when you offer that? It's ebooks. And what I mean by ebooks is not AI slop or a PDF of generic tips. It's a high end, graphically designed PDF that's 50% your story, your journey, what your company's all about, and then 50% your frameworks, your strategies, your tips, case studies that actually help them get outcomes they want. And if someone reads, and I've tested every type of content, webinars, podcasts, videos, white papers since 2012 across every niche in B2B for thousands of clients doing 5 and 6 and even 7 figure deals from the leads we get. That's what works best is these
Yeah.
ebooks. So for whatever reason, it's on demand. They can download it. They can flip through it. It's 3,000, 4,000 words. It tells a good story. It's got real photos of the actual people at the company, not stock image. And what happens is a person reads that and goes, yeah, I like you're approachable. I like your story. I like your company. And I really liked your tips. And then that opens the natural conversation of, do you do that? Do you're looking for help
Yeah.
there? Do you want help? And then all of a sudden now you're moving them to a phone call where it's a warm conversation. The content's already been doing the heavy lifting to get them familiar with what you are. And that's the approach I use every day for us and our clients. And that's really what works.
Yeah, I love it. As you say, you're guiding them through from what is a cold outreach to very much a hot prospect by the time they get on the call. So that's a really cool approach. And I suppose the theory with the ebook is you're actually providing value as well. So they're getting an
Exactly.
insight before they're not like, because that's always my issue with LinkedIn. I spend a lot of time buried in Sales Navigator, which by the way is a very good CRM for the level that it is compared to a lot of platforms you have to pay a lot for. It's a very good kind of added tool to use. But you do just end up feeling like a swapper meet. You'll connect with someone instantly, you get a message. Instantly, they'll be like, "Can I do this? Can I serve you this?" And they're just constant follow-ups coming through. So yeah, it's a very open the door. I'm here for you if you need me, and I'm not here if you don't want me, and we can take it from there.
It's literally like a neighborhood, and you knocked on the door and go, "Would you like some free cookies? I'm a baker. I
Right.
just opened up down the street."
Yeah.
Who doesn't want free cookies? And if they taste good, your business card's in there, they're going to go to your shop. And so I literally have a book. I write these niche ebooks, LinkedIn for franchise consultants, LinkedIn for coaches, LinkedIn for consultants. I give it away. And it's 50% the story of the company and get to know and trust us. And it's 50% niche specific frameworks, tips, ideas they can actually use. So to your point, ask permission, lead with value. So they go, oh, wow, they actually laid out their LinkedIn lead gen strategy. I like that. That resonates with me. I like that approach. I want to learn more. And then off we go.
Yeah, I love it. As you said, it's like Scout. You guys have Scout Girls now, handing out cookies in the US.
Girl
It's the same.
Scouts. Yeah, yeah,
Girl Scouts, yeah.
exactly.
Same way, knocking on door. Would you like to try a cookie? There's a box behind me if you want to buy one. Like it is the nice, like
Perfect.
open the door
Yeah.
approach and moving forward. Now, one thing I'm very curious to find out, John, is obviously how you go about acquiring your own customers. Do you follow the same tactic yourself, or is there anything else you're doing just to maybe enhance it, or just find those right kind of people to work with?
Yeah, great question. I found a couple, I've tried everything, right? YouTube, SEO, all the stuff. I found the number one way that I get customers is eating my own dog food, cold LinkedIn DMs, doing the exact model we just talked about. The number two way is books. So I published a book called LinkedIn Riches, my main book. And then I published a bunch of niche versions of it, Chicken Soup for the Soul, like LinkedIn for franchise consultants, which is a niche, LinkedIn
Yeah,
for coaches, LinkedIn for consultants, LinkedIn for whatever. And I put them all on Amazon, and Amazon's the world's biggest search engine. And I run Amazon ads, and people, I find that anyone that finds the book and reads it, then I have funnels built on the back of that. Do you want more tips? Do you want free bonus trainings and walkthrough videos and templates? Go to linkedinriches.com/bonus. You get put into a Thinkific course and an email drip through Entreport that shares more tips, more stories, more insights. And then eventually it leads to, do you want to learn about our Done For You service? Fill out this
yeah,
short type form, and then we'll get back to you. And so over the years, what I've learned is if I can get you to read one of my books or start with the free content offer on LinkedIn DMs, that's where it really works. What I've learned is to slow my roll because if I'm selling a high ticket done for you service, no one's going to get a cold DM, sign up for a call, and spend that money. They need to look at some material, right?
yeah.
So give them the book. I've created like walkthrough videos of here's what the process looks like. And so it's a very content heavy approach, meaning I want to warm people up to whatever degree they need. And as far as client acquiring them, it's really about scaling up the LinkedIn outreach organically. LinkedIn now has finally some good ads. I used to always say LinkedIn ads were a waste of money, and they
Yeah.
are a lot of them. The display ads are like $20 a click. Like, nope.
Yeah, it's a
They do a
joke.
thing. They do a thing called sponsored messages. As of this moment, it changes. Where for 7 to 10 cents per message, you can send even more one-on-one DMs. So
Okay.
you can build more digital neighborhoods with your Girl Scout cookies and go to even more. In an average week, I might be able to reach out to 100 to 200 people a day on LinkedIn through a variety of methods, invites, paid in mails,
Yeah.
open profiles, which are free, right? If someone has an open profile, you can find that and send a free direct message. If you're already connected at the first degree, you can send messages. So I can get 100 to 200 a day that way. But then
Cool.
the sponsored messages, I can do several hundred more. You just pay 7 to 10 cents per message. Those work as well. And you can track all the links. And again, offering free content, offering, would you like to find out if LinkedIn works for you? Here's a quick assessment. So it's really about the best ways that we find customers is through Amazon and the books. I also give all my books away for free. So if you go to nemomediagroup.com or linkedinriches.com, every single book I have is free. Digital download, audiobook. It's a loss leader. I just want you to get in and read it, just like the free content, because
Yeah.
that does all the work for me. It helps you get to know and trust me. It lays out my whole approach. You can see it for yourself. And people always say, what if people steal all your stuff? Great. They become the best salespeople ever. Because
Yeah.
I had one guy who literally downloaded a free copy of LinkedIn Riches, the book, from scratch, built a six-figure business, author marketing business, and then promoted me to everyone he knew and brought us tons of done for you. Because of course he, wow,
Yeah.
how did you build this business? Oh, this book, it was free. He did all the work himself, but there's plenty of people that don't want to do all the work that are like,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
just
very
hire
true.
the guy that wrote it. And that's why I think more than ever too, content is so key because of the AI world where it's all synthetic, fake, tip, generic. You got to put your personality in it. You got to tell your story. You got to use authentic photos because people want to connect with a real human. You know what I mean? Last I checked, Olivia, unless you're an AI generated caricature, which you could be, but we're laughing, we're bantering. We still have that human need to feel like this is a real person and I'm going to do business with
I agree.
them because I like them. I feel a connection and a vibe, not just they have a service.
Yeah. No, I agree. As you say, you kind of align with the people you want to work with. It's almost the same as when you're bringing on like employees within your business or even clients. It works in that same kind of aspect. So yeah, and you're actually taking the ebooklet into the physical world as well. So just leaning on that value and then taking it from there. And as you say, building a referral system along the way, which is a pretty cool aspect to it too. Do you run any like form of adverts on any other platforms, maybe to drive more attention to yourself towards LinkedIn? Or do you very much just stick to LinkedIn for all the outreach that you're doing?
Yeah, I've tried other ones. I've tried Facebook. I had no success. I've tried Amazon ads work really good to sell the
Yeah.
books. LinkedIn ads, I do the sponsored messages. I haven't tried some of the other channels. Like anyone else, I've studied where my best results come from, right? And where do
Yeah.
my best clients come from? And for us, at least, they come from LinkedIn, obviously, duh. It'd be like if you're a Facebook agency, your best clients would be on Facebook, right? LinkedIn is obviously a great one. But even like I was doing a YouTube deep dive today of all our analytics, and I love Claude. Do you use Claude AI at all yet?
I haven't tried it yet. I'm still dabbling on
Okay, so
other
here's a
platforms.
great pro tip for everyone listening. So Claude now has a thing called Claude in Chrome. So you can have a Google Chrome browser extension connects to Claude.
Yeah, yeah,
I opened up my YouTube page and my analytics and I put a prompt into Claude that said, go through all this data, which I can't understand. It's all Greek to me. What's going on here? How am I doing? Who's watching my stuff? And I told Claude, I gave it context, said my ideal client is high ticket coach, consultant, this age, this demographic. Claude was able to look at all my YouTube analytics from the last 5 years and go, actually, you're getting a bunch of young people in these countries that are
got
more do it yourselfers and you're killing yourself putting all this content out, which they love and it helps them, but they're not going to move and sign up for your stuff. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to run YouTube ads then. Okay.
yeah,
Even I'll give another tip for Claude just because I was nerding out on it today. Open up your LinkedIn, open up Sales Navigator, have the Claude and Chrome plugin enabled, and say, build me a list. Here's who I want it to be. It'll save you 45 minutes of going through every single, because if you've used Sales Navigator, it's so clunky
yeah.
and long
It is.
it'll go through and take over your screen and it will literally fill in the blanks and pick the
Sick.
things. It's amazing, right? So like I can have Claude in Chrome doing all these tasks for me. It can fill in spreadsheets and data points and I have it analyze my Amazon ads and then redo them on the spot. It's just the AI revolution is here. So if you're not embracing that as a founder, you're losing a lot of opportunity. But again, I went off topic with your question, but I'd say Amazon and LinkedIn are where we spend the most time
Yeah.
with ads. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. And yeah, I think the other app platforms are good. They just help with a little bit of consistency and obviously saving time on your end because running through Sales Nav is not an easy task sometimes, especially adding on follow-ups and whatever else. So cool stuff. And then I suppose, John, what are your like visions or ambitions for the company moving forward when you think of maybe the next kind of 6 to 12 months ahead? Like what are those goals or those milestones that you're looking forward to achieving?
Yeah, like everyone else, we're always growing, right? I think the biggest challenge for me is controlling the growth. So, we have a team of 20 and we only work with about 30 clients at a time, which is pretty small, I know, but we are so hands-on. And I
Yeah.
think the other real goal I have is client selection. Like anyone who's in agency services or client services, one bad client is just ruins the morale for everyone. My business coach has drilled into me you win or lose based on client selection. And the quality of clients is the quality of your life. So I work really hard, and the vision moving forward is really qualifying better, not just anyone that can sign up. And I think just the other big vision I have for the business is integrating AI more, not to
Cool.
replace people necessarily and fire everyone and have robots run the company. Because I do think AI has limitations. It's not human. It can't read the vibe. It can't read between the lines of you making a joke about Finding Nemo movie and then how I would respond, right? Like you have to know the person a little bit still. But I do want to get our team awakened to what it can do because if you can take some of the low level grunt work off your plate, like literally doing a sales nav search for 45 minutes, that's 45
Yeah.
minutes you free up with your brain to think about strategy or analyze data or create something new. And I think we just are scratching the surface of AI. Like we can't keep up. Every
Yeah.
week there's something new. But I've always been big on that. Being old, I grew up without a computer, without email, without the internet. I didn't get an email account till I was in college.
Yeah.
The internet did not exist until I was in college. So I saw what the world was like. Our grandparents and our great grandparents would laugh their heads off at us if we're complaining about anything today. They'd be like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, you have magic buttons that you can reach anyone in the world instantly? I had to go to a TV station or print a newspaper. Like, I think the technology is just amazing. And I think that's my vision is just to use it as much as possible to save time. And that I'm
Yeah.
big on that. I'm still big on how do I get more time with my family, even though I'm the entrepreneur and own the company. Like, how do I get more time now to go out and play pickleball with my wife or walk the dog? And I think that's where, and still grow the company and do great service. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think embracing AI, exactly how you said, is the beautiful way to do it. Don't let it take over the human aspect, but allow it to cut down those jobs, do the support, do the admin that no one really wants to do, and it just alleviates time. And then naturally, you can work on other things, even within the business. Everyone else would be more streamlined, more like sufficient moving forward. So it's just taking those steps. And I suppose, John, where are you probably finding the biggest challenge for yourself in like taking those next steps in the business, or even like accelerating growth?
Definitely, I'm the bottleneck. Like, I think a lot of founders will relate to that. You're
Yeah,
doing, I used to have 20 jobs in the company. I'm down to five, but I'm still doing too many jobs. And I think one of, to be really self aware, which is something I'm good at, I was really bad. I am still not the best at hiring talent.
yeah,
So I whiffed on a ton of executive level hires that cost me a lot of time and money. I finally found good people just from within, and I
cool.
now task them with hiring. They're much better at it than me. So, but I'm trying to work myself out of every job in the company, and I'm trying to be smart about how I do that using the new tools we have. For example, I still do a lot of our sales, so I will make a Loom video of me filling out a sales contract, and Loom with AI will create an SOP, standard operating procedure, from that video of me talking and step by step bullet points with
Yeah,
screenshots done. Like I don't have to train everyone one at a time. So I think for me, it's just figuring out it's the what is it, the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. 80% of my success is going to come from the 20% of things that I can do that nobody else does. And I think the trap for me, even today, I was getting distracted in which video tool should I use? And I put it into Claude, who I use as a business coach. And he's like, have you seen your to-do list, man? This is not high. Like, this is not going to move the needle to save $19 a month on video tools. Get out of here. Put that down the line and or delegate. And I think that's the challenge for any founder is probably how do I delegate? How do I use my time? Because that's the only thing we're all equally gifted is the 24 hours a day. So
so true. And that's so true. And John, thank you so much for joining me today. We've actually run out of time to chat. We ran a little bit over, so apologies if I took up too much of your time. Thank you again. Where can our listeners reach out best to work with you or connect with you if they would like to do so?
yeah, absolutely. LinkedIn, obviously, John Nemo, Finding Nemo. All the fish jokes apply. Connect with me on LinkedIn. LinkedInriches.com is where the book is free. NemoMediaGroup.com is where the agency is, and you can get all our free books and materials there as well.
Beautiful stuff. And thank you again. I really appreciate your time today. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's conversation, please be sure to go and check out John Nemo. As he just said, drop him a message on LinkedIn. I'm sure he would love to hear from everybody. And do not forget to subscribe to Founders Future via wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from $0 to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing and we'll see you on the next one.